Hello, and welcome to my film study on what Cris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes, and Megan Anderson did versus Felicia Spencer. Felicia Spencer is no slouch. This woman is a very tough and very durable opponent. She's never been finished. She's never been submitted. She's never been knocked out. Felicia Spencer is a top featherweight in the world. And Felicia Spencer is a tough opponent for anyone that faces her. Now, in this film study, we're going to point out what Cris Cyborg did and Amanda Nunes did to have success against Felicia Spencer. Megan Anderson had some points in the fight where she had some success against Felicia Spencer, and there were some parts in the fight where she was unsuccessful. But we're going to dive into that during this film study, so stay tuned. Okay, guys, let's get right into it. Okay, here you have Megan Anderson. Okay, Megan Anderson, what she's doing is she's applying pressure to Felicia Spencer, and Megan Anderson is successfully cutting off the octagon. And if you guys don't understand what the terminology cutting off the octagon means, what that means is that as Felicia Spencer moves to her right, Megan Anderson is actually going to move to her left, but Megan is going to move to the spot where Felicia Spencer is going to be, versus following Felicia to that spot. Megan is actually going to go to the spot where Felicia is going to be. Okay, that technique is called cutting off the octagon, and if you watch, Megan is going to do exactly that. See, as you see, Megan is moving to her left to stop the movement of Felicia Spencer. Now, people are wondering, why is Felicia Spencer moving? Why is she moving to her right? Well, Felicia Spencer wants to avoid this right hand of Megan Anderson. And let me tell you, there are very few featherweights that can stand with Megan Anderson. And nobody wants to stand and trade with Megan Anderson. For example, Holly Holm did not want to stand and trade with Megan Anderson. Megan Anderson has very, very good striking. And, you know, she's, as an MMA fighter, she's vastly underestimated in the stand-up department. So Felicia Spencer understands this, and Spencer does not want to deal with the right hand. So Spencer wisely circles away from that left hand. But Megan also wisely cuts off the octagon to keep Felicia Spencer in front of her. And this is what she does. Okay, now let's look at what Felicia does and what Felicia sees. Okay, Felicia Spencer, her stand-up isn't as good as Megan Anderson's, and she's not known as a stand-up practitioner. Felicia Spencer, she's well versed in Taekwondo, but in this situation, Taekwondo is not going to help Felicia deal with the level of striking that Megan Anderson poses. Felicia Spencer, what she's doing is she checked Megan off, and she's got to look at that lead leg. Okay, she's kind of glancing down at the lead leg. Okay, it appears that she's looking Megan in the eye, but actually she's eyeing that lead leg. And guys, this is very important because Felicia Spencer, she's going to go at that lead leg because Megan Anderson has such a wide stance that it's right there. So what Felicia does, okay, she attacks the lead leg. Megan Anderson definitely doesn't, she don't like that. Okay, she don't like it at all. And what Megan does is that, hey, you know, listen, I'm going to make an adjustment. And what's the adjustment? Well, Megan Anderson begins to narrow her stance. Okay, Felicia Spencer throws a kick to the stomach, and it's a push kick. Now, the reason why Felicia Spencer does this is that she's trying to get separation so she can shoot for a takedown. Okay, because remember, Felicia's ultimate plan in this fight isn't to stand with Megan Anderson. That'll just be stupid. Okay, Felicia's plan is to get separation so she can shoot for a takedown. And she was unsuccessful here. And Megan Anderson, she hit Felicia Spencer with the right hand. And this is what Felicia Spencer is trying to avoid in this fight. Because too many of those right hands could probably mean Felicia Spencer getting KO'd. Or better yet, badly damaged. And if you stare at this, if you look at this long enough, Felicia wants no parts of the stand-up. But look at what Felicia does. Okay, Felicia, she actually goes in, and this is what Felicia wanted to do. And I want you guys to notice something, okay? I want y'all to notice something real important. What does Felicia have here? Okay, Felicia Spencer has a very, very tight underhook. Now, this is very important because this underhook, she's going to use this to control the taller Megan Anderson. Okay, let's watch that again. The sequence that led up to Felicia getting this underhook. Okay, so Megan throws a hook, and Felicia, she shoots up under the hook. Okay. Now, if you look, Megan Anderson, she has an underhook, and you guys can see that Megan has an underhook. Okay, it's a weak underhook, and what I mean by weak underhook is that Megan Anderson don't have the underhook secure, and when the underhook isn't secure, a strong grappler like Felicia Spencer, okay, she can actually take the underhooks away, and I call it taking a person's underhook. Now watch what Felicia does, and it's very quick. Okay, boom. Okay, it happens so fast. But Felicia Spencer, probably from the time she was a teenager, she's been practicing that move and over and over and over and over. And it's just a skill set that Megan Anderson, she don't have it. Okay, Megan Anderson don't have that level of grappling. So Felicia was able to get this underhook, and guess what she's able to do? She's able to control the posture of Megan Anderson, and she's able to get Megan against the octagon cage, which is what she wants to do. Now let's look at what Cris Cyborg would have done in the exact same situation. Okay, here we have Cris Cyborg, and we're actually going to see how Cris Cyborg handles the same situation. Now, Cris Cyborg already starts out with a head kick. I mean, Cris was actually, just putting pressure on Felicia Spencer, and Spencer, she had very, very little counters to Cris Cyborg. But let's see what happens here when Felicia tries to do the exact same thing that she did to Megan Anderson. Okay, they're feeling each other out a little bit. Okay, now, right there. Okay, Cris Cyborg throws a jab, and Felicia Spencer shoots up under the jab, changes levels, and Felicia's trying to get a single leg takedown. Guys, I want y'all to notice something very special here. Okay, look right here. What is Cris Cyborg doing? What is she doing that Megan Anderson didn't do? And this is not a knock on Megan Anderson. Megan Anderson is developing, and she's developing as part of her game. Okay, and every fighter has a weakness. Okay, I don't care who you are. Every fighter has a weakness. They have something that they don't do well. Okay, but what did Cris Cyborg do here in this situation? Okay, let's take one more look at the film and let's see what Cris did. We're going to go through this slowly. Okay, so Cris, she's weaving, she's feigning, changing levels. Okay, changing levels because she's trying to get a reaction out of Felicia. Felicia, definitely, good job by Felicia, shooting up under the jab. Okay, but Cris Cyborg immediately, she gets an underhook. See, folks, here is the underhook. And guys, I got to tell y'all, an underhook is a grappler's best friend, and an underhook is probably one of your best line of defenses for takedown defense. Okay, without a good underhook, you're dead in the grappling game. And watch, okay? Now, Cris, she quickly, okay, once Cris regains her balance, okay, once she used the underhook to get her balance, Cris Cyborg immediately, she puts her hand on the head of Felicia Spencer. Why? Cris Cyborg is going to control Felicia Spencer with posture. Okay, head control. Head control, head control. Cris Cyborg is going to control the head and the posture of Felicia Spencer, and Cris is going to keep her balance. Felicia Spencer is going to try for the single leg, but it's going to be dead in the water. Cris is also hopping backwards, okay? Now see that, what happens now, after Cris takes a step back, Cris puts both hands on the head of Felicia Spencer, and look what happens, okay? She's got Felicia by the head. Now Cris can do one of two things. Cris can pull Felicia down. She can pull Felicia's head down and run Felicia into a knee. Cris Cyborg could actually go and get close for her own takedown, or Cris Cyborg can just punch her way out of the situation. And Cris Cyborg decides to punch her way out of the situation. Okay? Wow. Okay, that's a complete different view from what Megan Anderson attempted to do in that same situation. Guys, it's levels to this. It's levels to this. And guys, you got to understand too, Megan Anderson, she hadn't been fighting that long. She honestly hadn't been fighting. And, for her to even become the Invicta champion and to do as well as she had, it's still pretty astonishing in itself. But it's just that there are different levels to this game called MMA. And Cris Cyborg is on a whole nother level. And you saw it right here. Let's look at what Amanda Nunes did in the exact same situation. Okay, so here you have Amanda Nunes in the exact same situation. Okay, Felicia Spencer, she's going to shoot for a takedown. And let's watch and see what Amanda Nunes does to avoid the same situation. Okay, now Felicia, she's changing levels. She's trying to draw Amanda off. She's trying to make Amanda react so she can get the easy takedown. Amanda doesn't bite on any of the feints or the level changes. Amanda just doesn't, she doesn't bite. Okay, we take a look. Felicia throws a jab. Wisely, good jab. And Felicia tries. Look at what Amanda does. Amanda saw this coming from a mile away. And what does Amanda Nunes choose to do? Amanda Nunes chooses to take a step back. And then, okay, Amanda Nunes rotates to one side. Okay, Felicia, she tries to throw a strike. Amanda glances the strike off her shoulder. It's like a version of the shoulder roll. And then Amanda sticks her hand out. Now, this is very important, okay? See, the purpose, Amanda Nunes, she don't want to get taken down, okay? And when you stick your hand out there, you put the separation in between you and Felicia, or Amanda put the separation between, excuse me, between her and Felicia. And so now, what is Felicia going to do? What is she going to do? I mean, you see all this space? Okay? She's a mile away from a single leg. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And of course, Amanda, she circles around. Okay? And Amanda, she was having a lot of fun in this fight. Like, Amanda Nunes laughing at Spencer the whole time. Like, it's just, and it's not like I'm not ridiculing Felicia, but Amanda is kind of laughing like, is this what you came at me with? Like, you really thought that was going to work? Okay? And then Amanda chooses to follow back up because Felicia still is trying to get the fight to the ground. She's still trying to clinch. And Amanda comes back over with a strong right hand. Okay? And Felicia, Amanda Nunes, she's safe against the back of the cage. So you saw 3 different scenarios on how 3 different fighters, they avoided that single leg takedown. And let's keep watching, okay? Now, what is Amanda going to do next, okay? Watch. I mean, guys, I want y'all to watch that part again, okay? One more time. How Amanda, she got back to the center of the octagon. Okay? Felicia pushes Amanda back to the back of the octagon cage. Look, this is very important. What does Amanda have here, guys? What does she have right here? Can we say it again? Amanda Nunes has the underhook. It don't matter if somebody's putting their weight on you. It don't matter. It don't really matter what that person is doing. If you have an underhook, you have a chance. Okay? And look at what Amanda does to circle away. This is very, very good. Okay? So Amanda uses her underhook. She turns Felicia. And Amanda disengages. And she also leaves Felicia with a nice little left jab. And now Amanda's back into the center of the octagon. Okay? That's very, very high level takedown defense. Okay? It's very high level takedown defense displayed by Cris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. Okay? Now let's see what happens. What does Megan, Cris, and Amanda do in a clinch against the cage? Okay, so here we have Felicia Spencer. She's got Megan Anderson against the back of the octagon cage. Now, for a fighter, putting somebody against the back of the octagon cage, it can definitely be a stressful situation. And when somebody's got their body weight resting on you and leaning on you, that can tend to wear down a fighter. Okay, so what Felicia's doing, she's putting her weight on Megan, and she's just pretty much doing, basically trying to wear Megan Anderson down. Okay, now Felicia, she's trying to fight for the underhook, and she definitely wants to get this fight to the ground, because still Megan Anderson is still very dangerous. She's still standing. If Megan Anderson is up on her feet, she's dangerous. Okay, so watch Felicia. Watch what she does. She's trying to wear Megan down. Now Felicia attempts to pull guard. Now, a lot of coaches, they'll advise against fighters trying to pull guard. But Felicia, she's a ground threat. And Felicia Spencer can submit you from her back. Okay, she's good. She's very good. So she pulled guard and she wanted to fight to the ground. There's no way that Felicia Spencer, she's not going to win to stand up anything with Megan Anderson. And Felicia Spencer, she took the fight to the ground. This is where Felicia wants to fight. And Megan she's trying, okay? She's trying to do what all she can, but she just don't have the technical expertise to deal with this level of grappling and wrestling. She just don't have. Spencer she's a high-level grappler. She's high-level jiu-jitsu. And so Felicia knew that this was where she had to win the fight. Okay? Felicia knows this. Felicia knows that she's not a stand-up threat. And that's just the way it is. Okay, Megan Anderson lacked the necessary skill set to deal with the high-level grappling and jiu-jitsu of Felicia Spencer. Now let's take a look at what Cris Cyborg did to get off of the cage. Okay, so Felicia Spencer has Cris Cyborg against the cage, and she landed her elbow, cut Cris Cyborg open, and Cris Cyborg. Let's look at what she does against the cage. Okay, Felicia, she's digging her shoulder in. She's got a nice, nasty underhook. Okay, so technically she should have position, but look at Cris. Okay, she took that right hand, okay, or her left hand, sorry. She took her left hand and she dug down and she got the underhook. Okay, let's take a look at that again. Let's really look at that underhook that Cris Cyborg just got. Okay, and pretty good awareness by Cris in this situation. So you see the left hand, the free left hand. Okay, the free left hand of Cris Cyborg. She digs. Okay, now she's digging for that underhook. She's fishing for it. Okay, she's got a single underhook. Okay, having one underhook is better than having no underhooks, and she took one away from Felicia Spencer. Felicia, she still has sort of a kind of underhook, but she's trying to wrap her hands around the waist of Cris Cyborg. Okay, now watch what Cris does now. Okay, now Cris will take her stance, her base, and she widens her legs out. Now the reason why Cris Cyborg is spreading her legs is because the wider your base is, the more difficult you are to take down. And it's going to be harder for Felicia Spencer to change levels, drop down, grab a leg, and then try to get the single leg. It's just not going to happen that easily from this position. So Cris, again, okay, watch what she does with the hands. Okay, you notice that Cris is keeping that hand on Felicia Spencer's head, because if you can control the head, you can control posture. Okay, and Cris is doing the same thing. Okay, so this is also going to deter Felicia Spencer from actually trying to utilize the underhook to get Cris Cyborg to the ground. Okay, now Cris takes a right hand underhook in this situation. Okay, now she's going to control the posture of Felicia Spencer. Okay, Cris is still trying to hold on to that one single solitary underhook, but watch what Cris does. Okay, again, hand up to the head. Okay, and see, look, Cris Cyborg puts her hand up to the head, drops it to the shoulder, and now look what Cris Cyborg is able to do. Okay, boom, throws a knee, and see, that's high level grappling. Cris Cyborg was very patient, and what she did was she waited. In this situation, Cris Cyborg could have went for a takedown, she could have threw an elbow, or she could have threw a punch. Cris Cyborg elected to throw a knee. And of course, Felicia Spencer gets the beat down. Okay, let's look at what Amanda Nunes does in the exact same situation. Okay, so here in the situation, you have Felicia Spencer. She's got Amanda Nunes against the cage. And I want you guys to notice something similar that Amanda Nunes and Cris Cyborg does, okay? They take that wide base, okay? And again, the reason why that they both do this is it's harder to take somebody down with a base. And if you're trying for a single leg, it's going to be that much harder. Or, you have some fighters that like to, pick people up and scoop slam them. It's difficult to do in this situation. And it also, you're using more of gravity. And so when you have gravity, weighing down on the person that's trying to pick you up, it's a little bit more difficult to lift somebody with a wide base. So Amanda Nunes, she's pretty much just kind of chilling out in this position. She's in no danger. And Amanda Nunes decides, hey, listen, let's go ahead. You want to take the fight to the ground? Let's go ahead and get this fight to the ground. And Amanda Nunes, man, this is very high level. She elects to just take the fight to the ground. She elects and she sticks her foot out. She does a trip, and there's Felicia Spencer on the ground. And Amanda Nunes, actually, she was the first time that Felicia put her against the cage. Amanda Nunes had been, she had been really just collecting data. She had been collecting data on Felicia Spencer, like, okay, this is what she's going to do. She's going to do this. And Amanda Nunes kind of already knew that she had Felicia in that position. And let's watch that one more time. Okay, we'll watch it again. To be honest, in this situation, I don't know why Felicia Spencer left the single leg to try to, put her hands around the waist of Amanda Nunes. I don't know why she did it. But Amanda, she just took the wide stance. And now that frees up Amanda's right leg. Okay, and she sees Felicia trying to, actually take shots at that right leg. And guess what? Amanda, she waits, and then boom, she times it. She waits for Felicia to throw another knee strike, and then Amanda sticks that leg out there, and boom, Man, that is very, very, very high level. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this film study. Okay, and it really, it's not to throw any water on what Megan's doing. It's kind of like showing, like, look, there are different levels to the game. Megan Anderson, she's developing and she's becoming a better fighter every day. But I thought it was very interesting to see how three fighters who fought the exact same person, what they thought and how they got out of the situation. There's a lot to be learned from Cris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. Guys, thank you for watching my film study. Please like and subscribe.